We will continue with the presentation on the border crisis as well as ethical management of the United States Border Patrol and Customs Agency.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here at a very busy Thursday night. The breaking news here in New York City after that late unprovoked attack at what happened. But we do begin tonight with President Biden.
I apologize. We are not set up at the right place. I did have it set up.
Supporters say it's designed to eliminate fraud.
But opponents say that it could negatively affect thousands of people. Fox 10 Stephanie Bennett is live with more tonight. Stephanie.
Yeah, the bill's sponsor actually tells us this will actually impact a very small percentage of voters, including federal-only voters, people registering for the first time in the state, and anyone else who has not already provided proof of citizenship.
We think it's good legislation. We think it protects the voters and protects citizens to ensure and not dilute their vote. And if somebody on the left wants to challenge it, have at it.
Governor Doug Ducey signed Arizona House Bill 2492 today, meaning federal-only voters will now face certain restrictions and be required to show proof of citizenship. The bill's sponsor says it will ensure a fair and accurate election process.
No, Arizonans will not have to re-register to vote. It will be business as usual for 99.9% of Arizona voters. This only affects a very small percentage of total voters, and even then, we actually grandfathered in all of those individuals who already are registered to vote and have some form of proof of citizenship on file.
Under Prop 200, which was passed a few years ago, Arizona is the only state that requires voters to prove their citizenship when they register, which they show through a driver's license, government or tribal ID number, or they can attach a copy of their birth certificate, passport, or naturalization documents. That means Arizona already requires voters to provide their citizenship when they register. But for federal elections, like the presidential race, voters only need to sign and not show proof of citizenship. This then created a small group of federal-only voters that will now need to show physical proof with the passage of this new bill.
All speak out against these things. Reasonable voices, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, should speak out against bad policy. And this is bad policy.
The bill.
Okay, so in 2019, 95,000 non-citizens registered to vote in the state of Texas. Electoral fraud helped make sure Donald J. Trump could not build a border around the southern parts of the United States, where most of the illegal migrants have been found entering the United States of America. Preventing the border crisis also made Donald J. Trump a target for the illegal international criminal enterprise with the intentions of committing premeditated crimes against America.
New at 4 now, a groundbreaking release from the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. His office found nearly 95,000 people registered to vote, but not U.S. citizens. Paxton says about 58,000 non-citizens have voted in at least one Texas election dating back to 1996. Only a small handful have been prosecuted since 2005. Last year, the state attorney general announced a significant voter fraud initiative.
Civil rights group demands probe into Texas voter fraud raids.
The largest Latin American civil rights organization is calling for a federal investigation into a series of raids conducted by the Texas Attorney General's office to combat what they say is voter fraud. AG Ken Paxton's office says these undercover operations were happening in response to reports that organizations in Texas may be unlawfully registering non-citizens to vote or engaging in ballot harvesting. But the League of United Latin American Citizens, or LULAC, is denouncing the raids as, quote, point-blank voter intimidation. The CEO of LULAC was on American Decides yesterday, said that this is a pattern that Paxton has been pursuing to keep Latinos from voting.
He's gone beyond the pale. He's going after individual LULAC members, Latino leaders, civic leaders essentially in their community that are doing what they should be doing, which is engaging Latinos who are eligible to vote in these elections.
The CBS News campaign reporter Nidia Cavazos is in San Antonio, Texas, following the story for us. So the Justice Department confirms that they've received a LULAC letter. What is LULAC accusing the AG of doing?
Good morning, Anne Marie. So it was on Monday when LULAC officially sent over this letter to the Justice Department, and they're asking for a federal investigation into Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's office for carrying out these search warrants. Now, LULAC is claiming that this is not necessarily a case of voter fraud, but rather voter intimidation. And like you mentioned, they call it point-blank voter intimidation. Now, LULAC is also asking for the federal investigation, but they're also calling this a fringe on civil rights, as we're talking about raids targeting Latino community leaders, and it's these community leaders who are tasked with the responsibility of registering voters across the state of Texas.
Right. So, rights organization is.
Threats of electoral fraud continues to loom as the United States of America votes for a new president of the United States of America for 2024 until 2028. January 6, 2021, many Americans rioted against a cheated democracy, invading the White House looking for proof of fraud, attempting to help save their